Namo Narayanaya Dasoham Tava Keshava. Om 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 Dum Durgaye Namaha. 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 Om Hrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Hrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Hrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Hrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye 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 Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnu Devanandaya. 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 Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tulyam Rama Namavaranane. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tulyam Rama Namavaranane. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tulyam Rama Namavaranane. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bonaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Swami Vishnudevananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. So this morning we continue the topic, which is the foundation of divine life, Yamas and Niyamas. So Swami Brahmanandaji called it very beautifully, the foundation of divine life. So, Swami Shambhudevananda, many times he gives the example of building, that he likes to go into the construction areas. And it's truly very inspiring to see that the higher the building you want to build, the deeper you need to dig. And also on the spiritual path, the higher we want to reach in our meditation, in our concentration, in the level of our consciousness, the deeper we need to dig with the yamas and the niyamas, which are the ethical and moral basis. And, in the past days in India, actually people would not be even exposed to the teachings unless they did a lot of preparation. I even heard one of our Sivananda teachers, she said, you know, I went to India to learn classical Indian music, and I came to a very classical teacher, and he didn't want to teach me. He said, well, stay with me. And he just wanted me to, you know, wash his clothes, iron his clothes, clean his house. And for our Western mind, it seems so strange. I came to learn classical music, teach me what I want. But there is no really understanding that there must be a certain purity, a certain preparation for us to be able to receive divine knowledge. And so in the Indian traditional culture, it was very, very, you know, it was part of the culture. It was part of the tradition that in order to learn any divine science, you need to first of all prepare yourself. And the preparation is really servitude, what we do in the ashram, cleaning and cooking and promoting and, you know, doing all those things. And so by this gradual purification of the mind, we become proper vessel for the divine knowledge. But the time that we're living now is called Kali Yuga, and this is a very challenging time, which is called the Dark Age. And even Swami Shivananda and other yogis, they say in this age, we cannot really wait for total purity of the mind before starting the other practices. So Swami Shivananda himself was advocating the yoga of synthesis, which means we not only do karma yoga and we try to purify, but we definitely do meditation, we definitely do asanas and pranayama, we definitely do kirtan, etc., etc. So he was really advocating the combination of these paths. But he would emphasize that if we want to go deeper into these practices, we need to make the basis very steady. The yamas and the niyamas, which are the basis, the moral and ethical basis, needs to become very, very deep. And so I think the way we see it in many lives of different spiritual aspirants is kind of a spiral movement where we practice meditation, we practice study of the scripture, but at the same time we try to go deeper and deeper with the yamas and the niyamas. And then the deeper we go, the higher the meditation is, the deeper the level of concentration is. And then at this point, to go even deeper, we need again to go back to yamas and niyamas, again to go deeper with them and to perfect them even deeper, and then again go deeper with our meditation. So I see it as a kind of a spiral movement where each practice is supporting the other, but definitely to be able to go higher in the levels of meditation, to achieve deeper states of concentration, to be able really to understand any of the practices, we need the yamas and the niyamas. And Patanjali puts it so nicely in these 8 limbs. And so in one of the lectures, I remember Swami Swarupanandaji was saying, well, if you really want to understand asanas, you need to perfect the yamas and the niyamas. And for the regular Western mind, what do you mean? Asanas are just physical exercises. You know, you do headstand, you do shoulder stand. How is it connected to ahimsa, to non-injury or any others? But for the asanas to become a spiritual practice, for asanas to become really a way for us to be able to go within, to concentrate the mind, to go beyond the pairs of opposites. This is what Patanjali says, that asanas bring us beyond the pairs of opposites. So for them to be this practice, we need the yamas and the niyamas to be very strong. So this is why we put so much emphasis and we go through them again and again, even if the mind feels like, but I already learned that, I already know that. So what? There is another level, right? There is another depth that we might be missing in our own practice. So today I would like to share with you from this book, which is called Raja Yoga. And this is the Patanjali Yoga Sutras by Swami Shivananda, interpreted. And as I shared with you, Swamiji does something very extraordinary. He puts the verses in a new order. And so there is a chapter on these yamas and niyamas. So yesterday we gave a very brief introduction to all the 8 limbs and the yamas and the niyamas, and today I would like to go a bit deeper. I'll just like to remind the 28th verse where Patanjali says, Yoganga Anushtana Ashudikshaye Jnana Diptir Aviveka Kyate. He says, by practice of those limbs, why do we need to practice this? By practice of those limbs, Ashudikshaye, the impurities of the mind stop, they cease, they are being erased. Jnana Diptir, the light of knowledge shines, Aviveka Kyate. And then we cultivate this highest type of discrimination, of the ability to discern what is my real self and what is not, what the truth and what is not. So the first is ahimsa. So Swamiji gives the 35th sutra, where Patanjali says already the siddhi. So we mentioned yesterday that each of these practices have a certain siddhi, a certain achievement. So abstinence from injuring and killing being established, all hostilities are given up in presence of the practitioner. See, Swami Vishnu was understanding this very deeply. And so when he had the vision in here in this temple, and he saw planet Earth engulfed in fire and people breaking barriers and borders, and it was a huge catastrophe that he saw in his vision, he knew that we must bring peace to the world. But how do we bring peace? Exactly this verse. By practicing ourselves, by reaching this peace within us, we can really make the surrounding peaceful. So trying to impose it on others doesn't really help, but once we reach it inside of us, then we change the whole fabric of society. So Swami Sivananda says, ahimsa is not causing of pain to any creature in any way, at any time, in thought, word, and deed. So even the first line takes us very, very deep, because we might think, I'm not a person of violence, I don't harm anyone. But even this one line puts our own practice into many questions. So he says, not causing pain to any creature in any way, at any time, in thought, word, and deed. So we might not kill anyone or beat anyone, but then how are our words? Are we talking sweetly? Are we talking nicely? And how are our thoughts? Many times, from outside we might be maybe nice, but inside there is so much violence going on, us towards ourselves and us towards others. So this is an invitation to take our ahimsa practice into deeper levels and see that we are capable not harming others and ourselves on these 3 levels. The other restraints that follow have their origin in this. These are meant to make this restraint perfect. You will not be benefited much by taking to the practice of other 4 restraints without the practice of ahimsa. And if you read the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya, not only he says that you won't be benefited by others, by other yamas if you don't practice ahimsa, but even other limbs of yoga. Meaning, if you are trying to practice asana, pranayama, etc., and ahimsa is not perfected, you're not going to reach the goal. You're not going to reach the samadhi. So this is, very broad understanding. And our teacher, Swami Srupanandaji, he always gives the example of, if something falls on your head, your hands are immediately going to protect your head so the head won't be harmed. And then afterwards, the head is not coming to the hands and says, oh, thank you so much for helping me. I really owe you. Can I do something for you? Why is not? Why is not happening? Because this is a one body. And so the head, the hands, everyone perceives himself as part of this body. So everyone is supporting each other. And that's why there is ahimsa. There is non-violence. The head is not going to harm the hands, and the hands are not going to harm the head. So when there is a perception of one body, there is no violence. And so this is what this practice is trying to aim at, to really bring us to this realization, oh, this other is my own self. If I'm hurting the other, I'm actually hurting my own self. So the practice, if not practice, what is the purpose of other practices? Because the truth that we're trying to achieve through the yogic practices is the realization of oneness, is the realization of one pure consciousness, which is our own true self. So if the practices take us to other directions, to feel I'm such a great yogi, I'm such a great asana practitioner, I'm such a great meditator, it's very far from the goal if with these practices there is no non-violence, there is no non-harming. So Swami Shivananda, she says, you will not be benefited by other practices. Giving up of animal food also comes under ahimsa, because it is not obtainable through himsa of some kind. So we know that being vegetarian is very, very substantial for the yogic practices, as the vibration of animal in the food very much affects our mind. And so when we eat certain foods, it definitely creates certain impressions. If you hurt another man or cause another to commit injury to others, or even approve of another doing so, it is equally sinful. So here Swamiji starts talking about more subtle variations of himsa, of violence. And actually there is a beautiful chapter on ahimsa in Bliss Divine, and I really recommend to read. And in this chapter, Swami Shivanandaji is sharing how there are so many ways of himsa that we don't even feel that they are himsa. For many people, ahimsa is not only physical nonviolence, but he shows how frowning your face, doing different gestures is also a type of himsa, of hurting another. And then if someone is hurt and we're not there to support, it's also a type of himsa. So he goes to very subtle degrees of himsa. And really what he's showing that the negative side of ahimsa is non-injury, but the positive side is cultivating cosmic pure love towards everyone. This is the positive side of ahimsa, is really realizing, feeling, constantly dwelling on the fact that there is only one. And by me loving others, I can connect myself to this one even deeper. If you injure another, it is bound to react on you, whether in this moment or at a future date. You'll have to suffer anyhow in return. If you remember this law, you will not commit any injury. So he's showing here the law of karma, which of course we know as yogis, that whatever action we do brings a reaction. And it is, the yogis say, the problem is the gap. We don't see the gap. So whatever I did is going to come back to me, but just because it doesn't come back right now, it feels like, oh, I did something and there is no reaction upon it. So this gap between the result makes us feel as if there is no result. But Swamiji says whatever action you do is definitely going to come back for the good and for the bad. So of course, if we hurt others, we are going to be hurt. But also if we did something good, it's going to come back to us. The idea of the yogis eventually is to renounce any karma, the good and the bad. According to Tilaka's school of thought, if by the murder of a dacoit thousands of lives could be saved, it is not considered as himsa. Ahimsa and himsa are relative terms. So Swamiji is showing here that it's very hard to know what is, because the world is a very relative world. So sometimes by hurting, you actually can save many, many other people, and then it's not considered to be himsa. Some say that one can defend himself with instruments and use a little violence when he's in danger, and this also is not considered to be himsa. So Swami Shambhudevanandaji was sharing, the body itself has an immune system. So of course the immune system needs to protect and kill the bad bacteria, the different things that are endangering the body. So this is not a himsa. But Swamiji says a sannyasi should not defend himself and use violence even when his life is in jeopardy. English people generally shoot their horses and dogs when they are in acute agony and when there is no way of relieving their suffering. They wish that the soul should be immediately freed from the physical body. Motive is the chief factor. Swamiji says sometimes people kill a being because they don't want it to suffer. So it's not so the action might be the same, but the motive behind is a very different motive. So he says the motive is the chief factor. It underlies everything. The term hostilities are given up means that all beings, men, animals, birds, and poisonous creatures would approach the practitioner without fear and would do no harm to him. Their hostile nature disappears in them in his presence. The rat and the cat, the snake and the mongoose, and others, being natural enemies to each other, give up their hostile feelings in the presence of the yogi who is established in ahimsa. Lions and tigers can never do any harm to such a yogi. The wolf and the lamb, the frog and the cobra will play in his presence. Such a yogi can give definite orders to lions and tigers. They will obey. This is called bhuta siddhi, obtainable by the practice of ahimsa. The practice of ahimsa will culminate eventually in realization of unity and oneness of life, Advaitic consciousness. It will enable one to obtain cosmic love. So, I don't know, there is also such a passage in the Bible which speaks about the days to come, you know, when lion and the lamb and the wolf and the lamb will be able to rejoice with each other. And the yogis are showing us that this is not a vision for the days to come, but this is a vision to be cultivated in our own hearts. And this is such a beautiful thing to take the, you know, to the power of the practice to our own selves. And Swamiji is showing that by the practice of this ahimsa, non-violence, to the more subtle state, eventually we'll reach a stage where inside of us there will be no violence. And this inner non-violence will bring also the outer non-violence. He calls it bhuta siddhi. Bhuta siddhi means there is no violence in the presence of the yogi. And he says by this will definitely bring or realize the unity of oneness of life. Right now, it might be a beautiful philosophy to us to understand that, yes, there is one pure consciousness, but truly realizing it, truly acknowledging and feeling that is this what the goal of ahimsa is. It will enable one to obtain cosmic love. Om Tat Sat. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj ki Jai. Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj ki Jai.